Okay. What's up, hybrids? Welcome back to another episode of the Fandom Hybrid Podcast. This is Hanako, and I am here with Anthony, Mike, and Michele. And we are discussing the first 5 episodes of the Disney Plus series, Agatha All Along. And it's been a while since we've been together on a podcast. I think since before Dragon Con. How are you guys doing? How's everybody doing? Well, Michele is under the weather. That's why her camera's not on, but she wanted to be on this episode to talk about Agatha. So, how are you guys doing?
I'm okay. I'm stressed out, but I can't. I'm just waiting for the next con to fall, so I can relieve some stress.
Yep, that's coming up in a few weeks. Conjuration.
Yep.
So,
yep.
Agatha All Along. Let's talk about it because
can I stop?
No.
Wait a minute.
No.
No.
And no.
Let me get out the way.
No.
Okay. Do you want to go positive or negative first?
You know what? I'm gonna start with Mike because Mike has been, I think, out of the group, he has been the most enthusiastic about this show. So we're gonna start with him and let everything jump off with a positive spin because I kind of got a feeling how Anthony's gonna feel about this, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm kind of on the fence as well. So yeah, we're gonna start with the positive. So Mike, shoot, what you thinking about Agatha so far?
So for those who don't know me, my name is Michael Collins, and I am a Marvel apologist. So okay, I'm not a total Marvel apologist because Secret Invasion sucked, and there's no saving that. But this show, I absolutely love. Mm-hmm. I was a fan of Catherine Hahn's portrayal of Agatha from WandaVision, and she brought the same thing. I understand why people were kind of put off by the first episode because it's kind of, if you don't know the show Mayor of Easttown, or you're not into procedural cop dramas, you're probably like, what the fuck is this shit? And then they switch it in the middle. But I thought that was genius. It's exactly the same thing that they were doing in WandaVision, where they were going through different time periods and different sitcoms and stuff like that.
Right.
So they kind of started the same way. So I understood that. And I thought it was great. I love her portrayal. I love teen /
No, we're not gonna get to that yet. Just teen. Let's start there. We're a bit early. Okay. We're talking about 5 episodes, so we gotta.
It's in the 5th. It's in the 5th episode, but okay. Teen. I love Teen. I love his portrayal from when we were introduced to him. The 2nd episode was his. I loved how he helped to recruit the coven. I thought that was great. Mm-hmm. I love the coven. Patty freaking Lupone. I mean, how can you not love Patty Lupone getting her shine? Mm-hmm. I can appreciate that. I love the whole coven. I think that the way they're doing it is basically a witch's escape room, and I'm here for it. I mean, that's basically what it is. It's a really big escape room for witches. That's what the Witches' Road is essentially. And the way they're going about it, the way they've staged it, I've been really appreciative of it. I love Aubrey Plaza. I think she's fucking hilarious, even though she's supposed to be menacing at times. I just think she's hilarious. I love her portrayal. And for everything, I mean, I really like this. And I'm not even really a musicals fan as much as a lot of people are. Like musical theater people love this show, will probably love this show because of all the musical tones and the people that are in it and the way that they do it. I really, really like this show. It's just, I don't know how else to really explain it. It's just, I was in from the first episode.
Okay. Anthony, we're gonna go with you next.
Michelle's next.
We're gonna balance it because I think Michele is a little bit more on Mike's end of the spectrum than she is on yours. So we're gonna balance it. So we got Mike. So let's start with you. How are you feeling about Agatha All Along?
Look, it honestly, it's not really negative. I mean, the show is just meh. Like, there's it's not moving me. Like I I watched Mayor of Easttown, and Mayor of Easttown was really, really good. So I got it. But I mean, I like most of the actors. Aubrey Plaza is amazing. Her role is she's great.
Mhm.
Joe Locke as Teen,
Yeah.
he's great.
Mhm.
Not a big fan of Agatha at all. The actress, I didn't really care for her in WandaVision. Don't really care for her here either.
Okay.
I think you're just having backflashes of Miss
Hey,
Theories.
hey, I
No.
didn't.
Nope.
I
Let him
didn't. No,
finish. Let him finish.
no. So the thing is, she definitely can't carry the show by herself. She can't.
Okay.
So she's gonna need a really good, solid supporting cast,
Mhm.
like top notch. This has to be an ensemble show,
Mhm.
and I just don't think it works for me. Them as an ensemble cast
Okay.
because it focuses too much on her. Like they try to give you a little bit of all the other members of the ensemble,
Mhm.
but it's not enough. It just isn't. It's too much her, not enough everybody else.
Right.
And I know the title of the show is Agatha All Along, but I don't know if maybe it should have been called The Witch's Road. It's something else
Okay.
because I don't know. Catherine Hahn, she's an okay actress to me.
Mhm.
Like I said, I didn't really care for what she did in WandaVision. She was okay as a villain in WandaVision. She's sort of okay as an anti-hero. So the whole show is just sort of like just okay so far.
Okay.
This first 5 episodes, I'm just sitting there like, okay, yeah, that's cool. That's nice. I've done a lot of research on magic and witches, warlocks, sorcerers, and all of the above. And I usually like shows like this, Charmed,
Right.
Discovery of Witches.
Mhm.
This, yeah, it was meh. It was all right. Yeah, it was all right. And hey, I don't consider myself a music theater kid, but as a person who enjoys musicals,
Mhm.
but
What? Excuse me?
No. Wait.
despise,
You got to listen to his words. He enjoys musicals. He does not like musical episodes.
I
There's a difference.
despise musical television episodes.
We've had this discussion
Despise
before.
them.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
but
Okay.
I like
Okay.
musicals. Now, I don't classify this show sort as a musical. These episodes aren't really musical to me, but I understand what Mike is saying. Um, the music is good, and I enjoyed their rendition of Witch's Road. It was amazing.
Which one?
Both of them.
Correct.
Both of them, actually.
Both of them. Are you kidding
Both
me?
of them. Yeah. So, you know, those are my highlights.
Okay. Michelle,
Aubrey Plaza and Witch's Road.
what you
That's
got?
Okay. So I'm on Mike's side with this. And I'm going to get some people when I say these things. I have so much to say. Okay. One, I am very grateful for this show because it's given us back to when we had WandaVision, when we had Falcon and the Winter Soldier, when we had Moon Knight, Loki. Let's ignore Secret Invasion. Let's ignore Echo. Let's ignore all those other ones. This is on the same level as the other shows. I'm sorry. This is quality, friends. Quality. Okay? I am so sorry you don't like Agatha, but she is a perfect Agatha. I love Catherine. We love that this Agatha is not, she's not sorry for what she has done. Hopefully, she will start caring about the people that's around her. Hopefully, maybe. But you know what? If she doesn't, F them. You know what? They should have not thrown their magic at her. She's great. Of course, I love Aubrey in anything that she does. Shout out to Parks and Recs, and especially the teen. The teen is really playing it off. But this show has you questioning things. It also has a musical aspect. I love that each episode we kind of get into the history of one of her covenants. So, yeah, it's great. Even from the beginning, because you know she's under that spell. And we had all those other different types of shows with Wanda. We got the Law and Order type show here. And it's absolutely perfect. So I'm sorry, Hocus, what? That you didn't enjoy this. And it's lackluster, even though those other shows were
Hey,
lackluster.
I
And
said
you
that earlier.
so
Don't
much
steal my
better.
word. That's my word,
I'm
lackluster.
sorry. I am talking. I'm just saying it is not lackluster. It's very rich, it's very colorful, and it's quality. It doesn't seem thrown together as the other shows that we have to watch in the past couple of years. That's all I'm saying.
It's in the same category as Secret Invasion.
No, it is not.
No,
No, it's
absolutely
not.
not. No,
No, it's
no,
not.
no. We're not going there.
No,
Absolutely
it is
fuck not.
not.
No,
You know it's not.
you know better. This is
Right.
literally a house divided. This is cool as shit.
It really is, because my opinion is Anthony almost took everything I had to say word for word. Even down to, like, I literally said this to somebody else and I didn't put it in the group chat because I knew what kind of response it was going to get. I said I was going to wait till we were on the show, but yeah, it's kind of there with Secret Invasion for me, at least up until the last 10 minutes of episode 5.
You know what?
Like, I'm gonna be honest. Going into the show, well, let's go all the way back to WandaVision. Coming out of WandaVision, kept with it. I was like, oh, she's gonna get her own show. This is gonna be cool. Then the years of waiting and the multiple title changes. When you start going through those type of things, and we know this from what's going on with Blade, you know, you have a writer, you lose a writer, you have a director, you lose a director, you get another writer, you lose him, you get another director, you lose him. When you start having those types of things happen, there's obviously a problem with the production. The show is not as strong, or the film is not as strong as it could be. So I started getting these vibes about Agatha way before it aired. So, like, all of the news that came out this summer during Comic-Con with the promotion, I was just kind of like I wasn't excited. I wasn't doing what I usually do, which is like rushing to YouTube to watch the trailer and analyze the trailer. I didn't do any of that. I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna wait till it comes out and see how I feel about it. And I will say, I think the best part of the first few episodes for me was when Agatha was coming out of her spell and she started going through the different iterations of herself from WandaVision. That was perfect. Everything else felt so, I don't know. I guess I'm kind of like, I kind of agree with Anthony as far as Catherine Hahn. Like, I like what she did with the character in WandaVision, but as far as this show being about her character mainly, I'm just not feeling it. I'm really not that invested in Agatha as a character. And I also feel like she's overplaying it a little bit. It's just, for me, it's really, I don't want to say uncomfortable to watch, but it's not. Like, my excitement comes from when other people are on the screen, and even then it's not all of them. Teen is my absolute favorite character in this show, and that was, even for some reason, even before the show aired, like, something about Joe Locke and the way he looked, even in the promos, I was like, okay, I'm gonna like this character. And just what we've seen from him in the first 5 episodes, I love this character. Aubrey Plaza, I like her as an actress. I really don't see what they're trying to do with her character here, as far as her and Agatha, because they start off the show making it seem like they have some sexual tension between them, like there's a past between them. Okay, I get what it's supposed to read, but I don't I don't feel the chemistry. I don't understand what her character is supposed to be doing there, aside from creating chaos. Now, if that's all she's there for, I'm here for it, because she's very funny as a chaotic character. But this interspersing of this supposed relationship with her and Agatha, I'm not buying it. I don't feel the chemistry. Um, and it's just like them going through the trials, finding out about the other characters, finding out about their their traumas and what's led them to lose their magic. That's just been more interesting to me. And I don't know if it's just Agatha's portrayal. I don't know if it's the fact that when you think about her character has been under Wanda's spell in this show for 3 years. The fact that the neighbors who were so outraged that Wanda had them living under a spell, they just sat by and let this woman, live in this spell for 3 years. And I don't know, it's just something about the show was not really clicking with me up until like the last 10 minutes of the 5th episode.
I mean, what were they supposed to do though?
Well, you said something, Hanako said something that I think is key. The title changed 4 times in 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they changed directors, writers, and when you watch these first 5 episodes, for me, what I see are several different ideas that weren't fully developed.
Mm.
And they all kind of got put together in this show.
Mm-hmm.
So like I really would have loved to have seen a show where this 500-year-old witch loses all her power, realizes that she's been under a spell from this other witch for 3 years, living in a fantasy, and now she has to go on a journey to get her power back. But then you also got someone come in, let's shoehorn in Billy. And this,
Well, it makes it interesting.
And you just
it
described
was
the show.
already interesting.
Yeah, you are, but you literally
character.
describing what you want is what you just got.
No. They
But with
didn't.
some extra
No,
fireworks to
he
it.
wasn't done with his thought.
Okay, I'm so sorry.
Okay, well, let me make it brief. I'll make it plain.
No,
They
no,
didn't
no.
need all the additional Wanda stuff to make her character fully fleshed out. Marvel had been on a roll with dealing with characters who have had trauma and dealing with that trauma and dealing with the ramifications of things that's happened to them. Here we have a character through the first 5 episodes who hasn't really said anything, thought about it, or done anything other than the first thing she wants to do, I gotta get my power back.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what about? Did you not feel anything about what happened to you? What was done to you?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what made Falcon and Winter Soldier interesting. The trauma that the 2 of them felt. That's what made WandaVision interesting. Her realizing that she is trying to deal with this trauma that she had. Mm-hmm. And I know we're not done with the season yet. Maybe we're gonna get it from Agatha at some point, but we haven't gotten it now.
Right.
And maybe
Hawkeye,
you won't.
Same thing. He's dealing with the trauma of having to watch his best friend die and then become a murderer and now having to live a regular life again. And then dealing with the ramifications of the things that he did coming back on him and how it affects other people in his life.
Who are you
so
talking
we have
about?
all the Hawkeye.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but Agatha does have some, but it's not dealing with Wanda. That's not what her issues are. If you really pay
that's what I'm
attention.
saying is
She may not have. She's been through. She's been
Wait a
through.
minute, Michelle. Let him finish his thought.
It's there, but it's like all of it is kind of surface level. It's like mentioned, it's talked about, but it's not really dealt with, and it's not really a part and interwoven into the story.
I feel like it's kind of like throwing teen into the mix and then them mentioning the circumstances about her son, or just the fact that, it's rumored that she killed her son or she gave up her son. And you see these little bits and glimpses of her trying to ignore whatever it is that happened with her son, or you see her kind of acknowledging it a little bit. But I feel like what the show was trying to do, they were trying to make it seem like Teen might have been her son, and then we realize he's not her son, and then we get the reveal that he's Billy Maximoff towards the end of this fifth episode. And it's just kind of like, what were you guys really trying to do? Because the thing that was so weird about the fifth episode, when that reveal came through, everybody was so surprised. Everybody was shocked. Oh my God, the big reveal. And I was like, did we not already know that this was Billy? Because literally from when Joe Locke was cast and I saw him, he looked like he could have been the older version of the actor who played younger Billy. So I always thought that was a known thing. And so when the reveal came for me, it was very anticlimactic, because I was like, we didn't know this already? Even though I know what the show was trying to do, but it never felt like, oh, okay, we're going to misdirect people, make them think this is Agatha's son when it's really Wanda's son. And it fell flat with me.
I mean,
hold on. Let me one more thing, and then I'll back out. Then I'll step out. The two most interesting things about Agatha is that, one, the reason why she is the way she is because her mother tried to sacrifice her. Mm-hmm. And that was when she discovered her powers. Mm-hmm. Okay. And she murdered the entire coven. Mm-hmm. The second most interesting thing about her is that she sacrificed her son in exchange for the Darkhold. Mm-hmm. Those are very two powerful motivators and drivers for a character that you could have explored to no end on the show about her. That's why I thought, well, I forgot what the first title was, like Agatha House of Darkness or the House of
Coven of Darkness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what the show could have been about. Like, that's, exploring more of that and the ramifications of those things. Mm-hmm. That's all I'm saying. Like, I would have wanted more depth and not pretty colors and pretty costumes and pretty sets and nice music. Give me an actual story with some depth to it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm going to equate this to my feelings about She-Hulk versus a lot of people's feelings about She-Hulk. A lot of people don't like She-Hulk because of the CGI. I completely basically ignored the CGI and listened and watched it for the dialogue and everything else, and I enjoyed it. I don't think that this show needs to be penalized for Disney and Marvel fumbling the name, fumbling everything that they fumbled, not even having to do with this show, but having to do with everything else before this show, while they're filming this show, and after this show that happened, where they've had to push stuff back, cancel stuff, do all this other shuffling. It just became a victim of that. I don't think this show needs to be a victim of everything that is surfacely happening to it. And I think, and as opposed to the thing that it's that is going on underneath it in the show, because I like the show in the show. I've been looking forward, just like you, I've been looking forward to this show ever since they announced that they were doing it. I don't give a fuck what the title is. They could have been like, they could have just said, "Here's Agatha," and I'd be like, "Okay, cool, run it." But it's like, I understand what you're saying. Like if you keep putting stuff off and changing it, it's just like that Boys episode where they were talking about the show that had like 7 reshoots and is like a billion dollar budget, like it blew up and stuff. It's just like, it just keeps going and going. I get that, but I like the show for what it is. It's just like, I like She-Hulk for what it is. I like Miss Marvel for what it is. It's like, I like all these shows for what they are, except for Secret Invasion, but I'm gonna stop shitting on it. I can appreciate the things in the show that I really like. I mean, they've touched on Agatha, what she did with her son, exchanging him for the Darkhold. They've touched on all the stuff that she's done. And again, there are 3 more episodes to go. There's a whole double episode right before Halloween that we're going to. There are 2 episodes that are going to be on Halloween. There's a whole lot of stuff. There's 4 more episodes. Mm-hmm. So there's 2 episodes in one day right before Halloween or on Halloween. Mm-hmm. We're going to we still have a lot of show to go through before we say that they haven't really fleshed out the character. I agree that a lot of shows need to flesh out their characters early on, like second, third episode. They need to flesh out things so that people know what they're getting into. But that's not how this show goes. And I appreciate the way that they've actually done it. And I know it's not for everybody, and I can appreciate that because I mean a lot of people, yourselves included, a lot of other people whose opinion I value have told me similar things, and I can appreciate that, and I understand why people wouldn't like the show because of certain things that have gone on like that.
Yeah, I think
However,
you hold on. I think you misunderstand what Hanako and I are saying. The things that happen with the name changing and the writers changing, those are a what we're watching is a direct result of all the things that are happening beforehand. Mm-hmm. I'm not penalizing the show because the show changed the name. I'm saying that is evidence that the reason why the show is the way it is, the reason why the writing is so lackluster, the reason why they have all these good ideas that aren't fully fleshed out is because they kept changing writers. And anyone who knows anything about a show changing writers, as much TV as we watched, you know that when a new writer comes on, things change, characters die, ideas change, things get abandoned. So, hey, this is a cool idea where this could be her son that she exchanged for the Darkhold, and maybe this is a revenge thing for him. And then they're like, no, we don't like that. New writer comes on. Oh, well, we've already got all this done. Let's just make him Wanda Maximoff's son instead of her son. So on the show, you're watching it, and a lot of it's like, oh, okay, that might be her son. And then they change, it's not her son. Okay, well, was that like a false flag or something? So these are things that we feel watching the show based on the writing. And the writing is the way it is because the writers kept changing, ideas kept changing. So we're not penalizing it because the writers changed. We're penalizing it because they did a crappy job of writing the shit that they put on the screen. And I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh,
that's kind of harsh.
It is harsh, but you know what? Mike has pushed me. He pushed me.
I mean, I know, but I feel like it's harsh. Like some of the things
in the show because they changed title and writers. No, the show is. Oh God, it is not.
It is not. I mean, I'm so sorry for all the stuff that we have watched. Okay. It is not crappy.
I said it is okay. It's better than Secret Invasion. It is okay.
But
I'm just saying,
but not much.
Not
at least
much.
for me.
You got a couple of good performances and
a
good soundtrack, and you got piss poor writing. You know, you got really bad writing, and there's an actor on there who really, they probably should. I don't know why they cast the actor. They didn't need comic relief. Move on. Like,
are you talking about Sashir?
I'm not saying anything about anyone because I'm not going to point out a particular actor for being bad. But we had a lot of high hopes and expectations for this show. And also, I'm going to get on you. People didn't like She-Hulk because the CGI was bad. People didn't like She-Hulk because that was trash. The writing on that show was terrible.
I disagree. We can
have
a whole show about
was bad, and I'm really,
fine.
You know, and it has nothing to do with bad CGI.
That's fine. We can discuss that. We can discuss that on a separate show, and I'll be more than happy to argue with you about it.
What we're not gonna do is we're not gonna have people not have their opinions because if I say, "Well, I like the show,"
I'm not saying you're not.
No, you literally said that we are penalizing the show because of things that happen behind the scenes. I can tell you, if I'd not known about anything that happened behind the scenes, I didn't really think about the title change until tonight. But you know what? The writing is bad.
I'm sorry. I do agree that. I'm sorry. I think it did influence you. To be completely
it didn't influence me. I didn't even know they had all these writers change, but you can tell.
I mean, unconsciously, it actually does. Be honest,
okay,
and it's fine. That is for any show that we ever watch. Unconsciously, we will have a little bit of a bias going in because we know of all the issues.
No,
but
the problem
with other shows,
that is anything, and it's okay. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying it's okay.
I'm telling you. If you
going in without knowing
show read enough books, you can tell when
Right.
ideas change and get abandoned because they weren't working.
So
Or
here's the
someone
problem
comes
I
in
have
But
with the
and
can I
show.
just
changes it
finish my
because of
one
Hold
their
on.
thought?
own
Let me
ego.
just finish my
Hold
one
on,
thought.
stop, because everybody else has been talking. Let me say what I'm feeling
I
about
get
this
what
show.
you.
Because
Michelle
the
hadn't said
problem
anything.
I
that
haven't
I
been
have,
able to.
the
Okay.
problem that I have, and I'm going back to defend because of what Mike said. It has nothing to do with the title changes, the writing changes, whatever. I have a problem with it because the story is not cohesive. You have a story that's supposed to be about Agatha and whatever her journey is to get down the witches road. Okay, I get that. But the problem is you bring in these other witches and you only kind of sort of tell us what their trauma is before you kill the witches off. I think the one that we really got the backstory of was the witch whose mom sang the album. You get a little bit more of her backstory in these first 5 episodes, but the rest of them you don't really get to know them and what their purpose is before they die. And Iman Vellani, who plays Miss Marvel, she did an interview and she made this statement, and I think it's so very true. She says that the MCU needs to go back to focusing on getting us to care about the characters. And I really think that's one of the problems with this show. I really don't care about Agatha's character. I don't care. Like, you haven't given me enough in 5 episodes to make me really want to know what exactly happened, why her mom hated her so much. I mean, she asked her mom in what, the episode 4, episode 5, she asked her mom, like, why? She doesn't get an answer. We Again, you give us these other witches, you give us a little bit of their backstory when they're walking through the different trials and they see the different things that are affecting them, but we don't really know what those things mean. And it's like, now they're dead, so do I even care? And I just feel like this show is doing so much to try to tie this show, this character, back to WandaVision, and then probably tying it to whatever else is coming up. And I think with the Marvel films, the Marvel shows, one of the things that we were so excited about in the beginning is the fact that all of these shows have links to each other and they tell a bigger story. The problem is they're now focused so much on making sure everything fits that it just kind of feels like they're just giving us stuff. We really didn't need Secret Invasion because, I mean, nobody really liked it. This show, like I said, for me, it's kind of down there with Secret Invasion. I feel no connection to Agatha. I feel no connection to the other characters except maybe Teen, and that's only because I had my suspicions before who Teen was. So now I want the story of how he is where he is now. That's the only thing I care about with this show. Period, point blank. It has nothing to do with them changing the title. It, like you said, Mike, it could be here's Agatha. You're not giving us here's Agatha. You're giving us Agatha and her walking around with this fake gravitas that she's like this bad bitch witch, and oh, I did this and I killed this many witches and I'm the most powerful and blah blah blah. So, and that's just kind of how I feel about it. Like I said, up until the last 10 minutes of episode 5, but that had to do more with figuring out who Billy is. It just is.
Okay. First of all, I want to say that I did say I respect everybody. I listen to everybody's opinion and I respect it. And I respect your opinion and I respect your opinion. So I don't want to make it seem like I'm dismissing anyone's opinion about this show or any other show. I'm trying to put forward my point of view. Her Agatha's mother did say in episode 4 when she possessed her that she could that her mother could tell that she was evil when she came out of her, and that she should have killed her then. So she's still kind of alluding to
And
it.
how
And I
fucked
do
up
believe,
was that?
yeah, that was fucked up. But that, I mean, that's basically her reason. Like her reason is that she felt like she was evil when she gave birth to her. So that's why she was trying to. She probably has been neglecting her and trying to kill her most of her life.
But then
So,
my question with
but
that is, so whose fault is that? Is that Agatha's fault as a baby, or was that the mom's fault? You the
no,
one that
but
kept
no, but no,
this
but it's
child.
but it's no. I agree, but it still gives motivation for the mother as to why she's treating her like that. Also, if most people didn't know that Teen was Billy by the end of after episode 4, when Rio told her that it wasn't her son, there are only two people that it could have been. In this whole show, everybody knew that Teen was either one of two people. He was either Nicholas Scratch or he was Billy Maximoff. There's no in between. There's no one else that he could have been. So if they didn't really expect that he was, yeah, I pretty much knew he was Teen. I suspected he was Billy from episode 2 when the sigil was on him. That's why
Mhm.
I thought someone put a sigil on him
Mhm.
to protect him from Agatha finding out and doing something to him
Yeah,
because of how
yeah.
she treated Agatha. So
Hmm.
I pretty much assumed that he was Billy. Plus, he looked like the Billy in the Young Avengers, the way he had his hair, the way his hair was and stuff like that.
Hmm.
He kind of looked like him in the comic version of him. So I kind of figured I was kind of figuring he was Billy from when I was first introduced to him.
Yeah.
But after Rio said that that's not your son, you were like, oh well, I don't think that she was doing it to. I didn't necessarily think that she was doing that just to hurt her feelings. I think she was doing it to be like, hey, calm your ass down. That's not who that is.
Hmm.
I think that at that point I was like, oh, well, that's Billy then. Okay, cool, moving
Yeah.
on. But then, I mean, I got to shout out. I got to shout out the writers for whoever or the creators, the producers, whoever had the idea to put. You should see me in a crown after they put the crown on Billy at the end of episode
That
5.
was
I was
that was amazing. That
I
was
that's
a very well placed piece
no
of music.
one of the best
Yes.
beat drops I've ever heard, I've ever
Yes.
seen in my life. Like I was like this one of the best things. I was floored.
Hmm.
I literally was watching it in my room. As soon as that beat hit, I was like, I yelled, and I swear everybody fucking heard me. I saw lights come on across the way because I was yelling so loud. I was just
Yeah.
like, but I want to give them their props for that because that was well fucking done.
Hmm.
And I think that for a lot of I think they for a lot of people such as yourself, I think that's a good way to get people who are kind of falling off, watching it and kind of like, I don't know. But like the reveal, like, oh, I knew it. But then kind of pumping it up like that
Hmm.
kind of gets people back into it. They're like,
Yeah.
oh,
I
okay.
mean, like I said,
Oh,
that was when I started getting excited. I was like, oh, okay, this what we doing? Okay.
yeah,
Because it wasn't just the reveal. It was like it was confirming something that I already knew or I already felt. But then when you put the music behind it, it just took it to a whole different level. And then not only that, Joe Locke, I'm not familiar with anything he has done before this, if he has done anything before this. But when I say the whole demeanor change with him once
yeah,
you get that reveal, like all the way up through the end of that 5th episode until what's her name dies, Alice dies. He's like this bubbly, you know, kind of happy-go-lucky, charmful teenage guy. And it's like you really, again, he did draw parallels to Billy Maximoff for me from what we saw in WandaVision. And then it's like after Alice dies and he starts going off on Agatha about who she is and what she's done. And then you see the change into who he has become. It's like almost like once she says, you are just like your mother. It's like that was the key that unlocked who he really was, and his whole face changed. I mean, he doesn't even look the same. Like his features looked more mature, they got darker. And it was just like, oh, okay, so now we're about to get the real show. That's how I felt watching it. Because
And I feel
again, up through that, I was just kind of like,
And I feel like that was there from the beginning because, to be honest with you, let's honestly say, would we be interested if it really was Agatha's son?
I would be.
I would be, because
I
I
would
want
actually
to know
still
what
be
that
interested.
story
Yeah,
is, especially
I'd want.
Which
because
one's
they're
more
drawing the
interesting?
parallel with her and the dark code, and then we see Wanda. Like, it's an interesting comparison. If we believe what they're saying in the first 5 episodes about Agatha, Agatha gave up her child or sacrificed her child in order to get the dark code and its
Mhm.
powers. Wanda is using the dark code and its powers to try to get back her children. So
Right.
I think that in a sense is a very interesting contrast. And so I want to know the story about Agatha and her son more than I want to know any of this other stuff that they've shown us in the first 5 episodes.
And what makes it even deeper is the how it's related to her mother and what her mother did to her.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have what her mother was doing to her, and then what she turned around and did to her son. That
If
to
that's
me
what she
is a
did to her son, that's
Right.
the
And
other
if
thing.
that's what
I
she
don't, that's what she did.
is very was a very compelling story.
It is a compelling story, but it's even more compelling to have Team there because
I
then
think
you grapple with, what if I made different changes to still have my son here? And all that Wanda did to get her son to be actualized.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
her going back and forth. So it is actually a little bit more complex with having this boy here who is not your son,
Mm-hmm.
and trying to come to the fact that, yeah, I'm 350 years old. What could I have done differently?
Yeah.
And I'm still dealing with mom trauma. So honestly, being under Wanda's spell and everything that happened for 3 years, that is a dime in a bucket compared to all the things that she has dealt with over the last 350 years.
And I think if they focused on the story more for that, I would be more into it. But I understand the need for her to have a coven. I understand that. But you're bringing in these other characters who we're only getting a part of the story as far as what they contribute and why they are there. And then they're killed off. So it's kind of like you're okay. I'm a compare it like this, Michelle, to The Walking Dead. You give us these characters that are interesting and that could have more to contribute to the story, but before they even get like a foot good on the ground, you're yanking them away from us. And I feel like if that's what you're gonna do, you could have done more with their story, or you could give us more on the Agatha story. Like, I know they have Rio in there to kind of tie her past to her present, but again, I just kind of feel like it's just, I almost feel like they're just trying to check the, oh, let's have a gay or lesbian character box, because you're giving us the implications that they were once a couple, but you never really see it go past a certain point. And it's just like, does this have anything to do with the story? I don't have a problem with them having gay characters. We've said this a bunch of times, but make it feel natural. Don't make it feel forced. And for me, it kind of feels forced. Like, what is the whole purpose of that relationship, and how does it relate to the story? Unless Rio had something to do with her son's, whatever she did with her son, which she hinted at. I'm
Yeah, she
tired of
did.
the hints. Give me the story. And I realize what Mike said. We do still have 4 more episodes.
Mhm.
Maybe things will get better then. But one of the things we've always talked about, especially Anthony and I, when we were on Sci-Fi Party Line, and there were certain shows that we were like, we don't know if we want to watch this. You got to give the shows at least 4 episodes to kind of set the pace, set the characters, set the foundation of what we're going, what of the journey that we're going to be on. And then it usually starts getting better. The fact that it was almost the end of the 5th episode and I was just still like, do I even want to finish this season? That's disappointing for me as a Marvel fan, as an MCU fan, as somebody who is one of the biggest proponents of, oh, I like it when these stories tie into each other. I like seeing how the story flows. I'm just not really getting that with this show, except for the parts when she has to deal with teen. And I'm just to the point where I'm like, just make it an Agatha and teen show and give us the story from there. I really don't need all the other stuff. I understand the importance of the witch's road is going to give them what they want, but now Sharon is dead, Alice is dead, Jen is dead, and um Patty's character.
Lila.
Yes. They're
Yeah.
all dead
And
now.
I
What's the
and
point?
I agree with that part. That is the only problem I do have with it. I totally agree with that because
That
I
may,
agree
may,
with
may
that
not be
in.
dead.
And that's what I'm thinking. So I totally agree with that because I hate that on The Walking Dead when they do that. So this is the part that I do have a negative on because you did have us kind of invested in it, and each episode was clearly about them and their past and rediscovering themselves. For them to die the next episode, I did. I'm just hopeful that maybe towards the end we get you have to make a decision and they're in a holding place because this is just the richest road and this is just a let's see what you do type of thing. And they're not really
It's
dating.
another trial.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
hoping
yeah.
so.
It's another
I really
trial.
hope. If it is not, and we're talking about this in the next time we talk about it, and they clearly are very, very dead, then I will be on your side
Yeah,
because I
just
totally
think,
agree
So
to that.
yeah.
I want to go back to something Michele said. Like, I totally see what you mean by it being a compelling story if it is in fact if him being Wanda's son. But for me to be really invested in the character of Agatha, Wanda is dead. Wanda's story, as far as we know, has ended.
I hope not.
So
I
they
don't
they
think
don't
so,
they don't have
but I
to.
mean, they don't know. I mean,
Well,
she was in
well,
that. I,
well, for the
It's fine. I have a
purposes
theory.
He
of
got a
this
facelift.
current
Okay, it'll
the
be somebody
for the
else.
purposes of the current story, Wanda is dead. Like they made it clear in this in the first episode that's Wanda. Wanda's dead, right? She's gone. And something else, I don't know if it was Hanako setting up things for the future. We know they're gonna do Young Avengers, and here's a way to introduce Wiccan so they can have him for Young Avengers.
right.
But they don't want to put the work in building that character up in Young Avengers. So they're taking all these shortcuts in introducing all these characters in other shows, creating storylines for them to be in another property. So, Hanako, I laughed when you talked about all these things being connected and we all got excited about all these shows and movies. I don't think I was the one excited for that because I'm a proponent that the TV shows
Yep, you're right.
they were gonna try, and you know what? They fucked up because they did exactly what everybody wanted them to do. The movies and TV shows are all intertwined and related, and now we got this big mess. We got this big mess because they didn't keep the wall. They didn't keep the movies separate from the TV shows. They didn't do the TV shows like one shots, like the comic books do before the movie comes out. They do a one shot issue or a 3-series limited issue before the movie comes out. That's what the TV show should have been. But now they've interwoven it all, and now it's like one big mess, and they got a lot of crap all over the place because the number of people involved is astronomical.
Yeah, that's
And
the problem.
it's terrible, and it's a problem because they got away from it. They got away from this idea that we're just going to fill in the gaps. They went from filling in the gaps to actually creating structure and trying to connect everything and we got to spend so much time setting up things for the future and setting up things for the movies, setting up things for this and setting up things for other TV shows that you lose track of focusing on the show in front of you.
Yeah.
Focusing on the characters in front of you. So yes, I thought it would have been more compelling if her son came back, the son that she sacrificed to get the Darkhold. Now that the Darkhold is gone, anything related to Darkhold has kind of been released.
Mm-hmm.
And he's come back and he wants his revenge. And she
Could
has
be
to deal
next
with that.
Could be
I
next season.
thought that would have been compelling. That could be next season. But that's not what you gave us is the introduction of a character that's going to be Young Avengers. That's what you gave us.
Well,
And,
Okay.
and you sacrifice a lot of what you could have invested in the character of Agatha Harkness, which maybe a lot of us were excited about a show about her and would have got, would have liked to have known more about her and maybe building a coven again and trying to figure out how to get her power. She's the only known witch to survive the witch's road.
Mm-hmm.
Let's explore that.
Right.
But we are.
But to
we
me,
still have more
like,
episodes.
It seemed like it sounds like to me, it seemed like she must be lying because she seemed to not really know what the fuck is going on. So you know what I mean? Or she's literally setting all these witches up because she wants to steal their powers. So is this a power play for her? There's so many things that they could have done just to focus on her, but they wanted to invest the time in this other character who could be her son, who might be Wanda's son. And everybody kind of knows, oh, it's Billy Maximoff. That's Wiccan, because we all know he's going to be in Young Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
We don't all know that.
So,
That's all.
Okay, so
Oh, come on. Okay, yeah.
No, we don't all know that.
If you listen to this show, you know it.
You do now, but you wouldn't. I mean,
yeah.
to be completely honest, because I don't. I focus on one thing at a
listen to
time.
the show.
So if I didn't, you just told me something that I didn't know. So not everyone knows that.
Come on, we talked about it because we talked about the boy in Falcon and Winter Soldier, who's
yeah, we talked about him.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like,
and the girl in Hawkeye.
Yeah, but knowing now, I didn't know.
All over the place.
I didn't know he was. So to me, I'm thinking that we're focusing on him. You're giving them credit that they're doing to set up Young Avengers, but I'm thinking they're continuing a story that we actually was interested in. How we really felt horrible about Wanda after Doctor Strange and what happened to her. And like we always say, if you don't see a body, no one is completely dead. Oh, yeah. I need to see a body before I say Wanda is dead.
Yeah. And I agree, because my thing is, one thing that we've always learned about magic and witches and spells, usually the witch that casts the spell, if they die, the spell goes away. Agatha had to fight her way out of that spell,
yes,
and
she did.
had help to do it. So that in and of itself does not make me think that Wanda is dead. And I mean, I've even said that after Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, when we see the cave and the cliff collapse, you see that red light in there. I don't think she's dead, but of course,
here's a deep cut. Chaos magic works a little different than all the other types of magic. Chaos magic is a bit more persistent and a bit more powerful. I know they don't follow the comic book strictly, but Wanda, the type of magic Wanda does, altering probabilities and stuff, it makes it really difficult because I don't think we've had her die in the comic books, so we really wouldn't know. But there are other people that have done chaos magic and their spells persist. So, the chaos magic is a little different. But you are right about most other forms of magic. When the witch dies or the caster dies, the spell goes away. Same thing with Doctor Strange. All the Sorcerer Supremes, the same thing. But chaos magic is a little weird and a little different.
Okay. Real quick. I don't know if Michele, I don't know if you were listening to us like way back in WandaVision, but when Billy and Tommy first appeared, I think we probably touched on they're probably going to try to make them Young Avengers in some way or shape or form. So I mean,
we talked about it quite a bit, especially because of Lori's comic book background. Like she went into a deep dive for
Yeah.
us about those characters. So yeah.
Also, ad nauseum, I bring this up every time we talk about it. We start arguing about Marvel shows. I said it when they first started the multiverse saga. If they do this wrong, it's going to be chaos. I literally said, I was like, they
Yeah.
gotta do this right. If they don't do this right, it's gonna be fucked. And there are certain parts of it that are fucked, and I can't deny that.
Yeah.
Even the apologist that I am, I admit that there's some things that could have been way better than they were.
Well, I mean, it
Fine.
also it affects the way things are moving forward because
Right.
you started setting up storylines and characters and story arcs to go into future projects, and then you cancel those future projects, and then now you've kind of got, you know, this stuff over here in limbo,
Yeah.
trying to figure out what you're going to do with it. Like they had
Right.
to revamp the whole Kane thing when Jonathan Majors got in trouble, instead of waiting you know, I think that's one of those things where, because of the circumstances of what was going on with him, that was not
Yeah.
like a clear cut of, oh, he did this, you absolutely need to get rid of him. There were other circumstances, and at some point he was also the victim. I think that they really should have kind of waited to see what was going on before they made any other major moves. But
Yeah.
because they didn't, now they've had to revamp and do some other stuff, and now you got, you know, Robert Downey Jr. coming back as Doctor Doom for fantastic. It's just,
Yeah.
there's
It's
so
a big old
much
mess.
correcting that they have to go back and do now, because they're not they're straying from the sacred timeline, like, so to speak. You're doing all of this other stuff, and now it's like Michele said, chaos. That, I mean, and we have used that word before when talking about some of these projects. It's
Right.
chaos. It is
Yeah.
chaotic.
And as far as like,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
So as far as like which storyline would be more interesting between Nick and Billy, I think they both have their, in my opinion, they both have their pluses, their big pluses. I think that if it would have been Nick, I was like, I was always no more than 25-30% sure, thinking that it could have been. I mean, they could have went straight from Nick to Mephisto and confirmed Mephisto,
Well,
and
I mean, they did mention him.
shown,
They confirm.
yeah, they have mentioned him, so he is coming. I mean, we've known he's coming in Ironheart for a while, but they could have taken this and introduced him in this show, and let Sacha Baron Cohen come on and show what he's going to do with it. But I mean, and just like we've already said ad nauseum about, you know, Wiccan being in Young Avengers, and I will literally be so psyched if at the end of it, if Wiccan is still doing something, walking down the road, and Miss Marvel pulls up next to him in that Porsche and says, "Get in, loser. We're going to be Avengers." And it's like, I'll, I'm sorry, I'm a nerd. I want to see
Now,
that
I
happen.
have a question regarding the characters, because, okay, since we did get the reveal at the end of episode 5 that this is Billy Maximoff, okay, so now the question is going to come in: how? What happened? And where's his brother? So
That's going to be interesting.
My question is Tommy a part of the Young Avengers as well, or do we even see Tommy from this point on in the comics?
Yeah, they both are.
Okay. So there is a possibility we may see Tommy.
Yeah, Tommy's a
again.
speedster, so he's like the Flash of the young Avengers. So yes,
Okay.
you will see him
Okay.
eventually.
I just wondered because I was like, with the reveal that this is Billy, it's just strange because they're twins. One. And then two, the last time we see both of them is when Wanda is getting rid of the hex, and she knows that she's got to let her children go. But it's so interesting because, and again, this is the part of the story that would make sense to me and that would get me a little bit more interested. So if this is Billy Maximoff, right? And this is 3 years since Westview. So he's been out there for 3 years. So this goes back to Wanda ain't fully crazy. Wanda knows, she has been saying her children are out there. We have the proof right here now that Billy is. So that means Tommy's out there somewhere. So what are the bigger implications for that? And it's like, now do we have
I
to
don't
think?
I don't think they thought it through. I don't think they put that much. I don't think they were talking. I don't think either group was talking to each other about what the other was going to do.
And see, then you
Because
have a third component.
you raise an interesting point, because we had Bad Wanda looking for her children, and apparently they were actually around, in some form, but dark hole corruption, etc., blah 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 blah. But they, whatever. It goes back to this idea that it's all over the place. Like, they're all over the place. It's just pure chaos. And yeah, they are trying to do Young Avengers. We have 7 members, of
Basically,
Young Avengers already introduced.
And they're talking about doing a show about White Vision. So
Vision
that's
Quest.
going to tie in.
They're already doing that one. Yeah, they're doing Vision Quest. Yeah.
So it's kind of like, if you're going back to the story, if you're going back to the Wanda stuff, okay, fine. With this show, the show that we are supposed to be discussing, how does Agatha tie into all of that? And again, if you were focusing more on her story, her past, instead of just doing it a bit here, a bit there, and you're interspersing all of this other stuff with, the whole mystery behind Alice's mother disappearing or dying, and, her being the singer of the ballad of the Witch's Road and all this stuff. Like, there's so much of that I was really getting interested in that part of the story, because I was like, oh, y'all giving us all the tea on this. And then you kill Alice. And it's just kind of like, why would I want to get invested in these characters if the characters are not going to be there? I mean, Michele and I, we talk about this on The Walking Dead all the time with the Walking Dead spinoffs, because you introduce us to these characters. They're very likable, and they don't last more than an episode or two. And it's just kind of like,
I was upset about them getting rid of, like, doing Alice like that too. I was like, oh my God. As soon as she hit Agatha with the magic to get the ghost out of her, I was like, oh God, you're not. And then sure enough, I was like, son of a bitch. Because I actually really liked her character. I think her character, like you said, her character's backstory was way more fleshed out. Like, she had a lot more redemption going on with her, and she actually was on the path to being like, finishing her story and getting what she was after. But that's the one part that got me. I was just like, I don't know, unless they're gonna bring her back. I hope they do, but I'm not holding out hope that they do. It's just like with
oh, they
Kate
probably will. That's probably going to be part of Agatha's redemption story. She's going to bring all the witches back.
I don't think they're redeeming her. I'm putting it. I don't think that Agatha. I don't think they're going to give Agatha anything redeeming, and I think they're going to.
I agree.
I think they're going to put her back to the way she was, and because you've seen, like, she's proud to be a witch, and she's proud of the witch that she is. So it's going to take a lot to make her not be that witch, the witch that she is, and I don't think they can get into that. She's going to get that kind of arc in this series at this point. I think that she's just going to be.
If they still decide to introduce her son.
Even if they do, I don't see her change. I don't know. I don't see her changing that much, like in that way.
I don't either. I don't feel like she has to have one.
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't either.
I don't. I do believe that many of the things that's said about her, I think it's misunderstood. And I think she just goes with it and say, you know what, that's what you want to think. That's what you want to think. And I think that's made her who she is. And she's unapologetic. And I don't want her to be apologetic for the choices that she made. Like, she didn't kill those witches. They literally was throwing the power to kill her. That's her power, taking their power. Well, you know what? If
Yes.
y'all want to believe that I did that purposely, y'all go for it. But I'm not going to sit here and apologize for anything.
Right.
Yeah,
And you don't know why
she's
I made my choices. So that's why I feel like we got to have some characters that are not always got to be redeemed at the end. Because honestly, she didn't really do anything horrible.
And I agree. I absolutely agree, because it's like, what are you expected to do when your own mother and her coven try to burn you at the stake for being what you were born, for being what you were created? And that can go into a whole different type of moral discussion. But
yeah,
I
she's
mean,
basically the Jessica Rabbit of her coven. Like, she's not a bad witch. She's just drawn that way.
no. But yeah, I
Born that
mean,
way.
she's just, for her to
Exactly.
be,
I don't have a problem with her because, like Michelle said, she is the way she is because that's what happened to her.
mhm.
And the way her powers work, all the witches are scared of her because she killed her whole coven, right? So she's like, if you see her and you're a witch and you, oh my gosh, she's gonna kill me, and you shoot her with your powers, she's gonna absorb it all,
But yeah,
and you're
because
gonna
you're
die.
trying to kill her.
And how many times do you think? But how many times do you think that has happened to her, where she's just minding her own business, being a witch,
You're
and the
right.
witch decides, I got to take out Agatha, or she's
Mhm.
going to kill me. So probably a lot of witches died thinking they were having to defend themselves, and she's really probably just doing what she does.
Yeah.
You know, she can't. And it seems like Michelle said, she has accepted who she is.
Mhm.
You know, she's not intentionally trying to kill witches. Her whole thing with Wanda, I really don't understand what she was. I got to watch WandaVision again to see what she was trying to do. You know, I think, she was trying to get her to become the Scarlet Witch so she could steal her powers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So
Is
she
what
could
she was,
become the most
what
powerful
her
witch in the
end
world.
game
Yeah.
was.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mhm.
And I wonder that made it, she became that way because of being ridiculed and being hunted by all the other witches,
Yeah.
or
And then
having
after
to
losing
defend
her
herself.
son, she was probably like, fuck it. I don't have anything else. Like, her son may have been the one thing that kept her from being that witch. And then with whatever happened to him, because again, we don't know for sure what happened to her son. We know that he may have been sacrificed or whatever. We also know Rio may have had something to do with it. But aside from that, we don't know nothing. So if her son was taken from her, or she accidentally killed her son, or she purposefully killed her son to get the dark hold, or whatever the case may be, after that, she's probably like, yeah, fuck it. Okay, I'm just gonna burn the world down. And I can't say,
Or
that I blame her, especially if she's being hunted in the way that we saw in her flashback in WandaVision.
I have a theory.
Oh,
And
okay.
just because you
Yes,
can't see the look on my
yes.
face,
Someone
I'm
in
in
the house
awe.
has a theory.
Oh,
That's awesome. I love
I have
this.
a theory.
but we
Okay,
need to
so
hold on. We
what
need to
if
put this down. Michelle had a
yeah.
theory.
So what if she was trying to steal Wanda's power, make her the Scarlet Witch, to steal her power to become the most powerful witch in order to buy back her son from the exchange of something that happened with Rio dealing with the stronghold?
I, I actually
uh,
So
think
she's
that's
trying to go
I don't.
into battle
That's
with,
plausible.
yeah. That's
what's his
actually a
name
very
again?
sound theory.
So
Who would be holding her
Mephisto,
son? Was yes,
Mephisto. That's who she would have
Mephisto.
made the deal with.
Mephisto
Right.
confirmed.
Well, she
That's the
didn't
only
make the
thing I can think
deal.
of.
Maybe she made the deal, but he tricked her in the deal that she made that ended up taking her son. And now she's going back.
And Rio 100% had something to do with that. I'm
Yeah.
Oh,
100% sure.
absolutely.
I believe that.
Absolutely.
And she knows how she can get him back too.
Hmm. And
Yeah.
it's going to
That's
come.
my
It's going to
theory.
come to fruition towards the end. I think that's going to be one of the things. Either she's going to try to trick her into going to get him and being trapped in the underworld, or this is something where she says she can get it back, but she actually can't, so she's trying to trick her into doing something. Because the whole
This
thing is
will
like
make
she's
an
trying to get
awesome
bodies.
Agatha Harkness show. This will make a great show.
You know what? But
That would make a great show because basically she's Wanda. She's doing everything Wanda did to get her child back.
yeah, but guess
the
what?
same
She's gonna make a
exact
different
thing.
choice because guess what's gonna happen? She can't get that power from Wanda anymore because Wanda is currently in a Wanda bubble underneath some rubble until it's time for her to get out. So
Wanda's dead.
So when the movie
okay,
comes,
again, she's
Wanda's
in
not
rubble.
dead.
She's in rubble. So it's going to become a choice where she may have to take the power from Billy.
Mm.
And then she decides not to.
Hold on. If Wanda is not dead and they bring Wanda back and they recast her, I'm gonna have a whole lot to say.
They're not
Right.
recasting her.
Marvel.
They're bringing her
Right.
back, but she's not. They're not recasting. Why would they recast her?
Why
would
can't
they
she
do
be
that?
recast?
No.
They're not. They'll have a reason to recast her.
Well,
I'm going to have a
What's-
whole lot to say.
because if the actress is
about
not coming back and we
recasting.
still need Wanda.
Oh, she
we
has
can-
already said that she would be down to reprise Wanda if they asked her. So I'm,
Yeah.
I'm with
Okay, so-
Anthony on this one.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're
Like,
not going to recast.
If
They're
there
not going
was
to recast.
if there was a feasible reason for them to recast her, I would be like, okay, yeah, you know.
I see. I thought she said she was done. So since she's not
Also-
done, they're not going to recast her.
So let me
Also-
translate.
Dead. If she's dead and she's not
dead.
Mhm.
because we didn't see a body, because I don't remember seeing T'Challa's body either. And
That's something totally different. We can't even use that as an example. I'm sorry. Cut the tapes.
Okay.
Cut the
I
tapes.
can't
We
get my
can't use
character
that.
back. Everybody else gets their character back.
But you can't.
Okay,
That was
I
a
see how that
totally.
works.
I feel the
See how
same
that
way
works.
But no,
that
I understand.
I
what
get
you're
it.
saying.
Okay,
I
Anthony,
do.
I do, but we can't
calm
use
down.
that as an example. We can't use it.
So either Marvel kills their characters off and they don't come back, or they kill them off and bring them back when they want to, when it's convenient for their story and for them.
Yeah,
Okay, I see how
yeah,
that
they do that
probably
all the
will.
time.
I mean,
Right? Yeah, that's
They do
every
that
show
all
we
the
watch.
time.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
everything we watch. Doom, Walking Dead. I mean, hello.
This
But
is
yeah,
not just
but-
Marvel. It's every fictional show
Yeah.
does that to be
Right.
convenient. Convenience is a motherfucker, and I agree with you. It would be. I mean, there's certain things that would be fucked up, but it's
But I would say
again, you
this
didn't
too,
see the
going
body. They
back
brought back
to-
Kingpin. He got shot in the fucking face.
Yes.
True.
But I will say this too, with going back to what Michele said. So you were like, yes, well, you know, she said she was done. So you have to really pay attention to the way that those actors are saying those particular things, because I don't think they're saying that they are done in the MCU when they are saying that they are done. I think they're saying that certain things are done or certain storylines are done, but I think all of them are open-ended still. I mean, think about it. RDJ was one of the first very adamant ones that he was done in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and we see he's coming back.
Yeah,
we saw Thor in Deadpool and Wolverine, even though we know that
Chris Evans in Deadpool and Wolverine.
Well, yeah, but he wasn't Cap. So there's a difference. But
I mean, he still came back.
but I see what you know.
Everything is a negotiation. The only person I know for a fact, well, I'm not gonna say I know for a fact, the only person most unlikely to come back is Scarlett Johansson because she's suing them.
No, they
money.
settled that. She's working with it. Yeah.
Yeah, she's
Okay,
getting
there you
paid.
go.
Like,
They settled that within like 2 months. And
But
actually
is she
signed
gonna
a
come
deal.
back, though?
executive producer. She gets executive producer credits and
see,
everything. Like
there you go.
she's in there.
Yeah.
She would come
Everything
back.
is negotiation.
She would come
Everything
back
is
because she wasn't mistreated. See, that's different than Wonder Woman. She was
The only-
mistreated and sued. She's never gonna be Wonder Woman again. But
The only person that's
Johansson was
not coming
treated
back is
nicely.
Chadwick Boseman. So
Yeah, and that's because that's impossible.
Yeah, that's
But
life.
other than that, it's an open thing. And I mean, people say what they want to about these Marvel films. You know, you have all of these quote unquote esteemed actors and directors and producers and all of this stuff saying all this negative stuff about you know, the Marvel movies and what they do, but let's speak facts, okay? Marvel films pay a shit ton of money. You know what I'm saying? You can do one Marvel film and probably retire. So, you really think that any of those actors are going to close the door and be like, no, I will never play this character again? Absolutely not.
The only
Especially
person with a
because,
closed door is Terrence Howard because he missed out.
and I don't even know, and I've never gotten the full story about that because I've heard that that wasn't his choice. So
No,
His
man.
agent
It's
screwed up.
RDJ, man.
No, man.
It's RDJ screwed me, man.
so
You don't like me, man.
I'm just saying, I would
Everything
never
is a
say never.
negotiation.
We could always see Wanda, especially if they're doing a Vision show. Paul Bettany is coming back for that. So you really think Elizabeth Olsen is about to be like, oh, hold up. So y'all coming back, getting this check and playing these characters that you originated. Give me my Scarlet Witch, especially because she loves that character so much. Like she is one of those actors who did her research about Wanda Maximoff in the comics. So she knows the whole story. She knows the whole arc. She's talked about wanting to do House of M. So yeah, I'm not counting her out. She may show up at the end of this like, oh yeah, you thought I was dead? What's up, bitch? You never know. You never know. She's looking for her child. Her child is right there. She can come back.
So she's gonna show up. He's gonna try to bring Tommy back and bring her back. That's probably what's gonna happen.
You know
One
what?
of the two. Either one of the two or both. He's gonna try it.
The both of them are gonna go looking for Tommy.
Or he's gonna find Tommy
That's
and they're
gonna be
both
fun.
gonna go look for her. So it's either way. It's gonna happen
here
either way.
for it.
That's a great theory, Anthony. I appreciate that. Good looking out.
That is not a theory. That's the realization that everything is a negotiation.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right, Jesse Jackson. It's the realization of the negotiation of the proclamation of the situation.
Jesse Jackson or T.I.? Which one?
No. See, it's not the proclivitation. I didn't say that.
But okay. So now that we've gotten all of our points out the way, let's talk about some good things about the show, because I'm not saying I hate the show. I'm just saying it just hasn't caught me like the rest of the shows did, or like the earlier shows did. But there are some good things about it. Like you said, Mike, the beat drop at the end of episode 5, I was here for it because I love that song anyway.
I love that song too. I have that on 2 different playlists. I love that fucking song.
So that was good. Like I said, once Agatha started realizing that she was in a spell, and she starts taking off these layers of the person that she was, that was cool, because I love seeing them have her in this. She was in the morgue, and of course the morgue is in color, but they have her in the black and white. I love it when they do stuff like that because it looks so cool. And also that iteration of her character, I liked a little bit more, because again, we're just looking at this Agnes character like she's the neighbor. She's Wanda's friend. She might be one of the ones that's also brainwashed. Then when you get the reveal, the whole Agatha All Along with the song, it was like mind blown. That's the Agatha that I want. And I feel like that's not the Agatha I'm getting in this show. You know what I'm saying? You see her come out just a little bit, but that's not what we're getting. And I think that's the main thing that kind of is bothering me about this show, because the character doesn't seem to match what I remember her being. Like I said, I feel like she's overdoing the sass. She's overdoing the kind of the arrogance that she has about being the most powerful witch, or being the only witch that's completed the witch's road and all this other stuff. Maybe if she takes it down just a little bit, it won't seem so out of place.
I think that she's doing that just to she is overcompensating, but she's doing that because she's been handcuffed for 3 years. It's like she could because she's been under a spell for 3 years, and she's just not. Think about it. When she came out,
No.
when
I'm not talking about Agatha as the character. I'm talking about Catherine as the actress, because the way
okay,
she's playing it, it makes it, to me, it makes it very obvious that she's an actor playing a role as opposed to her being this character. You get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
some people, when they do certain things, or when they, it's just the way that they are with the characters, you feel like that is that character. You have to remind yourself, oh wait, they're playing a part. I don't feel that with her. It's like, to me, it's very obvious that she is an actor playing a role.
And
And I
see,
and I feel like that's kind of sort of what Agatha is supposed to be doing as well, but it just feels very off for me. It just doesn't feel natural to me.
okay, and for me, it does.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like she's crawling through cobwebs right now.
Okay.
And I guess because I've seen
Okay.
Catherine in so many different things, like it totally isn't even close to anything that she has done.
Okay.
And it makes me, I guess, because I also seen like adults like that. It's almost like when she was in doing that, oh, it's Agatha all along. That was going with how the shows was, even though she had created that
Mm-hmm.
for Wanda. But here, this is essentially her. But for me, I feel like she is waking up, trying to fully wake up and
Mm-hmm.
also figure out what her end game should be. Because right now, Wanda was her end game.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's like, okay, I'm trying to get my powers back, but there's other components in play, and she knows it because she still knows that she has to deal with the Seven, which is
Right.
extremely
Salem.
creepy
Uh-huh.
as
Mm-hmm.
hell.
Right.
ugh.
And Billy, the teen, figuring him out until she can figure out who he really is, because she
Mm-hmm.
figured it out, then.
Mm-hmm.
So I just feel like it's that just kind of gathering yourself back to who
Okay.
you are.
I can get that. If I look at it from that
And you're a little bit
perspective,
all over. You're a little bit
yeah.
all over the place. Like you're riding that bicycle after you haven't ridden it for years
Okay.
of yourself.
Right. Right. Okay. I can see that. I can see that. But I need the show to get better for me. I mean, and like I said, it's not that it's a bad show, but it's just like, when I think about some of the other shows and how, for me, damn near perfect they were. WandaVision being the very first. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, like a lot of people, I don't know why more people don't like that show, but that
Yeah,
show,
I don't either.
with the characters, with the chemistry between the two leads, just with the subject matters that they deal with, like that is a top-notch Marvel show. Miss Marvel, top-notch Marvel show. You know, Moon Knight, which, oh my God, can y'all please tell us if we're getting a second season already? Because that
They're
was
him and
a
Holland.
top-notch show.
It's like 60-40 now. It's like they keep saying they are. But see, it's like they're trying to tie it. They're trying to tie a lot of things into Midnight Suns, which they also said that they're doing. So it's like again, they're doing the same fucking thing. They're trying to do too much at once and put a lot of things and tie them in and do all this other stuff. All they're gonna do is they're gonna end up like tying their fingers together and cutting off their circulation, and then they're not gonna be
Yeah.
able to do anything.
Yeah.
So it's like just give me Moon Knight season 2 so we can finally see Jake and do something. Like,
Right.
please.
Didn't they do Midnight Suns? They just did it as a video game.
If it just is a video
They did
game.
a video game.
It's a video
Yeah.
game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I need them to go back to the narrow focus, because you're telling us stuff that's coming out 2026, 2027, 2028. Right
I
now,
don't care.
honestly,
Yeah, I don't
we
care.
don't need to look that far ahead, because y'all shit keeps changing. You've already had to change the Kang dynasty. You're giving us all this other stuff. Blade still ain't got off the ground. So it's just
There's only
kind of
gonna
like,
be one Blade.
yeah, so it's just like,
There's going to be no Blade.
It might not. But my thing is just kind of pull the focus in just a little bit. Just like with the Infinity Saga, like you had all of these properties or all of these films that kind of converged into this one saga. Okay, if you're gonna do what is it, Secret Wars, or if you're gonna do what is it, Armor Wars, or just focus on something, get us to that point, and then start moving to the next thing. Because at this point, y'all got too many things in the frying pan, and it's just it's becoming a turducken. It's too much. It's like
A
all these
turducken.
things
Nice.
mixed
Now I'm hungry.
together. And well, it is close to Thanksgiving, but it's just all of these things that's just give us some focus. Y'all need some focus. Y'all need some focus.
Yeah.
If y'all are gonna give us this Agatha story, we have 4 more episodes. We need Agatha's story. If it was Agatha all along, tell us how, tell us why. I don't need all of the extra stuff. It's just, yeah, especially if you're gonna kill off the extra stuff before we get the full story. So yeah, that's just my 2 cents. I'm still gonna give it a try, because like I said, the last 10 minutes of episode 5, that's what hooked me. That's what kept me from abandoning the show, being like, okay, you know what, I'm done. Now that we know who Teen is, I mean, they didn't say his name, but the dude had the crown just like his mama. That's absolutely Billy Maximoff. I'm here for it.
That's definitely a giveaway.
Right. Let me see what they're about to do. Let me see what this kid, Joe Locke, is about to do with this character.
And I think that's going to be a good thing, because that means that these last few episodes, they're going to be locked in on the path, because there's none of this uncertainty anymore. Mm-hmm. So it's clear that whoever is writing this is locked in on what they're going to do for the next 3 episodes.
Yeah. So that's
hopefully.
That's what I want to see. Right.
Because if it's Billy Maximoff, then we have a story. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like it's going to be. If it is him, then it's not really Agatha's story. It's really a continuation of Wanda's story, which I think is a disservice to Agatha's character.
Maybe not, because it could still be Agatha's story, especially because they keep referencing her son. So I really strongly feel like we are going to see her son in this show. And maybe Billy is the thing that's going to lead her to her son, or lead her to be able to get back her son. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe without his brother and without his mom, maybe he sacrifices his power. He gives her his power so she can get her son back. I don't know. That there could be so many different ways that they can do it, but I don't feel like Agatha's story is over. I feel like they just waited too long to say, okay, now we're about to show you what we're about to do with this character. And I really hope that's what they're about to do. Because if you could come in episode 6, episode 7, and get me to be like, oh, okay, I'm down, I'm not going to be mad. I will take back every negative thing I have said about this show if you can get me on board and show me the path and show me where it makes sense. But right now, it's just really not making much sense to me.
I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe my mind just functions different than normal people. But I appreciate the way that
Why would you assume the other people are the normal people and not you are the normal person?
Right.
Have you met me? I'm sorry.
Right, because then I'm with you. So, but
this is
I'm
I
not
like
normal.
the way that thank you, Michelle. The way that they've arranged this season makes perfect sense to me. It's like they get Agatha back. She gets her coven. They sing a beautiful song. They go down the witch's road. They kill Deborah Jo Rupp in the 3rd episode, which is, I don't think she should have been there anyway. I'm like, because I think Wanda just was sick of her and was like, just bring her. She dies, she dies. I don't care. But
So I
it's
guess
like,
that's the other part of the thing that bothers me with Agatha, because I was just like, why would you bring this woman down here and
because they needed a fifth.
not tell her what you're doing? Like,
She didn't
you
even
know
know the
what it's
song.
like.
She was like,
Am I supposed to know this song?
You know what it's like being held hostage in your own mind, not able to control what you're doing, where you're going, how you're doing it. You've been trapped for 3 years. And before that, I don't even remember what the timeline was for Westview, as far as when Wanda got there and everything happened to the time that she got discovered and it was fixed. I don't remember what the time frame is, but you were part of this illusion as well. So the fact that you just bring this woman down here, you don't tell her what you're doing, you don't tell her what she's doing there, you just bring her and just expect her to just do whatever. I was just like,
no,
see,
she
are you
didn't,
not
because
learning anything from your experiences? That's the other part. And going back to what you were saying, Mike, I don't think it has to do with you looking at it in a different way, being as far as being normal, being weird, whatever the case is. Y'all know me, I'm always about the character development. I want the story, I want the background, I want to know what the motivation is for this character and the path that they're going to go through to get to the end of their story. And it's just right now, I just don't see that with Agatha. And then, like I said, you have all these other characters that you've introduced, and you've only given us a part of their story, and then you kill them off or you make them disappear, because we don't know for sure what happened to Jen and Lil at the end of the episode. We just know that Billy, he blasts Agatha into some quicksand, and he does the same thing with the other two ladies. So they could still be alive, but again, you're giving us these people, and you don't give us anything to connect to them. And like I said, Iman Vellani said it. You got to go back to making people care about the characters. And right now, I just really don't, except for Teen. Because I feel like I won't say I know the story there, because how he got there after what happened in Westview and Wanda getting rid of everything, that's a story I want to know. But I mean, again, I care about that character. I want to know.
See, I care about Agatha. I want to know.
I want to know too, but they're not giving it to me, so it's
No,
really
but
getting
see,
to the
because
point where I'm just like,
she's not going to give it up easily. That type of character is not giving it up easily.
yeah.
That's the hard part about it.
Yeah. But I mean, we got 4 episodes. They can fix it. They can make me change my mind. They have time. Not as much time as I want, because again, here we go, one of these ridiculously short seasons. But I guess that's just the way it is now. If you're not on network TV, so I guess I have to deal with it. But you got four episodes, Disney Plus and Marvel, to convince me that this is a good show. Because right now, like Anthony said, I'm meh.
Okay, well, can we give a shout out to the opening? Do you like the opening?
I do. I like the opening, and I do also like the closing credits, because you see all of these various references to like witches throughout history, both
The
fictional
craft.
and non-fictional. So yeah, I do like it. Like I said, there are certain things about it I do like. I loved the first version of the Witches Road. The second version was okay, but I was like, okay, are we gonna have to hear this song every single episode? Because I
okay,
just
you're
didn't
on
want
the
to.
Witch's Road. It's literally the theme song to the Witch's Road.
I don't need to hear
But
every single version of it. I don't need to hear the country version. I don't need to hear the reggae version. I don't need to hear the ska version. I just don't
Wait till you
need
hear
all
the
those
hip
versions.
the hip hop
version.
premiere remix.
but
Neptune's remix coming up.
it was actually genius of Alice's mom to sing a song that becomes so popular that people will sing it and it will constantly protect your kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she
Perfect.
basically made all of her fans a coven. I mean, that was
Yeah, you did. You
Yeah.
did.
awesome.
To
That was
open up the role and to
Yeah.
like for the protection spell. It was
Mhm.
perfect. That was
Yeah.
perfect.
unfortunately it didn't protect her much, whereas Agatha is
No,
very
she
protected.
died. Like, yeah, I know. That's
They killed the whole reason for the protection spell. So then the protection spell had no reason to continue to work.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
well, no, because the protection spell was protecting her from the curse was cursing her, but that was whatever.
No, the curse they lifted they abated the curse in episode 3.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, like it wasn't keeping
So
her alive. It was just keeping her from not being as cursed with the curse. But she was still
right.
cursed. She was still losing her jobs and shit.
Curse,
I'm still cursed.
she was protected
No.
from it killing her.
Yeah.
Right, but then someone else kills her. But we're hoping that when they die on the road, maybe they like wake up back into the non-road.
Because I think that's one of
No.
the things they said at the beginning.
Hanako,
Dungeons
I'm
done.
saying I'm hoping. I'm hoping. Okay. Let me go with this
Yeah.
dream here.
Oh yeah, just hold on to that because I
Because
actually
if
like
not, they're
Alex.
dead for real. We trying
Yeah.
to bring them back.
Okay, I get
For
you.
real,
I
for
get
real.
you. Okay, I got you.
Right. Because it makes no sense.
Yeah, I don't like it either. I'm hoping that they figure out a way that Jen and Lily can pull themselves from the muck because Agatha's going to because the show's about
Of
her.
course,
She's
Agatha's
going to pull
going
her way
to,
out of the
yeah.
muck. So
What Agatha's not telling them is the reason why she's the only one that survived the witch's road is she killed all the witches that was with her the
well,
first time.
duh. They already figured that out. It's like
Oh.
I think Jen knew. I think Jen probably had an idea. That's why it happened because she doesn't trust her at all. It's like that's why Lily didn't want to go. She's like, I'm not going just so you can kill me. Like fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, no.
And I think
All of
Rio also has something to do with that because she said something about giving her the bodies.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay, that's the other thing. So like I said, I don't have a problem with Rio's character. I think as I don't know if I want to call her an antagonist because she hasn't really been antagonistic with everyone. She's just a little bit weird and a little bit scary.
Yeah.
But she hasn't
but I mean,
openly
Where did she go? Where did she go? Because at the end of the episode, she wasn't around.
no, she had a body to collect. She had
Did she come out of the house?
She might have been still in the house with Alice.
yeah.
Because she did say something about collecting the bodies, and I was like, okay, so why are you collecting bodies? But they never, again, they never explained that. But yeah, she may be in the house with Alice. So
Okay.
I think
She does her own thing. Let her be.
yeah, I think she has because there's still some scenes from the previews that we haven't seen yet, and I think she's the one that's pretty prevalent. So that's pretty important to the story and what's going to happen. So she's going to come up eventually, and I mean she does her own thing anyway. So it's like, I mean we didn't even know she was a green. I mean it's like she is so. I don't know what she is. It's like
She's
some
not
people
a
have said
green witch. She is the green witch.
the green witch.
Yeah.
I think that I mean there have been some people who are saying that she might be death because remember when they were on the Ouija board and they spelled out death, she just kind of laughed. So they're like, she laughed because she knows that there's such a weird aura around her as to what her end game is other than killing Agnes. I think that she has some. I mean, I how was she? Her being so her being summoned to the road still kind of perplexes me a little bit. I'm like, is there something about it that's weird? I can't put my finger on it, but I probably will be
So
able to. By the time they reveal everything, I'll be able to put my finger on it.
yeah, I was gonna say it has to do with something having to do with Agatha. obviously, because she was also part of the reason why Agatha broke through Wanda's spell.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's just kind of like you keep teasing this past relationship between the two, but you're not really giving us anything for it. It's like you're telling us, okay, they were in a relationship. She obviously betrayed Agatha, probably in the worst way. And there's just kind of there's this back and forth between them. And it's
Or
like
vice versa, because I mean, she wants to kill Agatha. It's not like just the other way around. It's like Agatha doesn't really want to kill her. She wants to kill Agatha. So Agatha obviously did something to earn that rage from her.
I don't know.
Because Agatha's trying to get away from me. She's not trying to instigate an interaction between her. Like she's not trying to fight her.
Agatha was
Agatha's
like
not trying
this close to kissing her before Rio
Right.
said, Agatha, that's not your son.
Love does some fucked up things, man. love is a motherfucker.
Yeah. So
It's
again,
a thin line
4 episodes. So they got to
between
give us some
love and
answers.
hate.
They got 4 episodes to change my mind.
I think they're going to. I can't wait to see where they take this. I think the final 2 episodes are going to be key. I think that the 2 episodes leading up to those 2 episodes are going to probably give a little bit more of a backstory. I think they'll get to the end of the Witch's Road by the end of course, the episode before last is the penultimate episode. So they're going to get to the end of the Witch's Road at the end of that episode.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next episode will be them, whatever happens with them getting what they want or whatever. So
setting up the next show or the next whatever.
Yep, setting up wherever they're going next. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I really hope they approach this as like when they were mapping this out and writing it, that they were like, we're just going to do 1 season. I really hope they did that. I hope they didn't do it where we want to leave it open at the end because we want to do a season 2. But I really think Marvel's been doing well with having these shows end and just be 1 season. And if you can come back for a season 2 and do a different story.
Mm-hmm.
But don't leave us on a cliffhanger.
Yeah, a cliffhanger, and then we'll have to wait 3, 4, 5 years to see what's gonna happen, like with Moon Knight.
If it happens at all, right? Mm-hmm. And I do have hope. Like, so I'm sort of like Hanako. It's not that I hate the show. I think it could be better. I don't think it's bad. I think it's just okay. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't want anyone to think that I think the show is terrible. I like some of the performances in the show. I like the music in the show. I like John Locke. I like Joe Locke. I don't know why I said John Locke. Joe, I like.
You thinking Lost?
You thinking philosophy? It's your philosophy?
Yeah. And even though I don't really care for Captain Han, I think she actually is really good as Agatha Harkness. I just think that the role is not. It's not the way the story is being written to me. It's not big enough for her. It's not her to me right now. It's still sort of like a continuation of Wanda's story now. Okay. But I do have hope because I think knowing pretty much because of The Crown, knowing that this is Billy Maximoff, I think narrows the focus of the show. And I think it's probably going to get stronger on the back end than it was in the beginning. Like, I think they did a lot of meandering and a lot of setup for a payoff later. Okay. And hopefully it's a pretty big payoff.
Okay. Now, I will say this. I do think we will be adding Agatha Harkness to our mother's panel for conjuration. Once we find out what the deal is with her child. So, yeah.
Yeah. And that's going to have people want to talk about Wanda and her mothering skills.
Well, we can do that because, I'm on the Wanda defense team because
her kids are just her imagination.
You know what? Do y'all have any final thoughts on the first part of Agatha All Along?
All right, real quick. Shout out to Marvel for continuing to to give the LGBTQ plus community a voice and like to show them in a reasonably positive light. I think that, you know, I mean,
Why do you say reasonably positive?
okay,
Because
positive
right
light.
now the story don't make sense. It's like y'all telling us that they were involved and that's it. Just like you said,
because
don't do it just to check a box.
their relationship, I believe their relationship's kind of toxic, but I think that teen is a positive role model for the gay. I mean, he's obviously gay. He doesn't care if people know he's gay, and he is a really good character. So that's a good character for the gay community. I, in my opinion. Shout out to Patty LuPone. Damn it, I love this woman. I mean, Tony Award winner, Grammy winner, Olivier Award winner. I mean, she deserves this, and I'm glad that she's getting all the accolades that she's getting. I'm glad that she is doing what I think she's doing a really underrated job in this. Really like her character. I mean, her character does since she's a diviner. Is that the right way to describe her?
Yeah, sure. She's a clairvoyant.
She's a clairvoyant, yeah. And it's like I mean, her just like us blurting out, Alice, don't save Agatha. It's like because that's another thing that I didn't pick up until I watched reactions. I was like, oh shit! Like in the second episode, she's like, save Agatha, and then in the other one, she says, Alice, don't. So she's seeing her things in reverse, and it's like, oh shit. So at any rate, I'm a Patty LuPone fan. I think she's really good, really cool.
No, are you? Just
Shut up. Also, shout out to the original cast in the first episode, just acting like everything's okay and going along. And poor what's his name, like watching her investigate his flower bushes, thinking that it's a body. I mean, is it Hank? Oh, damn, what's his name? But yeah, I mean, he went through the worst of it because he's like right across the street from her. So he's like, oh God, here she comes again. Just don't pay attention to her. Just let her do what she's gonna do.
Yeah, I still got issues with the neighbors. I mean, I know there's probably not much they can do against the magical entity, but the fact that they were like, I mean, because when she started coming out of the spell, she was like, how long have I been like this? He was like 3 years. She was like, y'all didn't do anything. Well, we just kind of was.
What were they gonna do?
They couldn't do anything.
I know, but still, it's just
But it's like basically, I mean, really, this is all Wanda's fault. This is all her fault because she put Agatha under a spell and then left. And now Agatha just thinks that she's one of them, and everyone around her is looking at her like, "Bitch, you were just in the air fighting the Scarlet Witch. We know that you're not. We know you're not normal." And then she goes around pretending she's a detective one day, then she's something else another day. She's all in Herb's fucking rose bushes. She goes to the library making a scene with Dottie, and it's like, like nobody knows what the fuck's going on. Like everybody's like they're basically playing on. This is basically a supernatural episode of the Truman Show because everybody knows that she's not. Everybody knows she's fucked up, but nobody's doing anything about it. They're just letting her go along, thinking that she's doing whatever the fuck she's doing today, and it's like, I mean, they're just like.
I'm gonna give them credit. I'm thinking in the beginning they tried because remember, everybody the government kind of knows what happens there. I'm sure, damage control probably tried to do some things when they went there and fixed everything, and I'm sure they tried and they were like, you know what? There's nothing we can do. No one gave Dr. Strange a call to see if he could undo it, but at some point they were probably like, we tried to get her out of this. Let's just go with it. Some therapist probably came along and was like, you know what? Let's just go with it and maybe it'll go away. But it wasn't working, whatever they were trying to do. So they just stopped and just decided to go along with it. Because
the government can't handle natural stuff. What makes you think they can handle supernatural stuff?
I'm not saying
they can't handle regular shit.
No, I'm just saying they probably went through all these people in this city probably had to go through therapy after what happened to
Yeah,
them.
yeah,
And probably
you're
Because
support.
right.
You're
sure,
right. You're absolutely
like
right.
she was
Yeah.
someone that when they were trying to help her, it wasn't working.
Yeah.
And so they all decided as a community, we're gonna just help her through this and just go along with it because of all the things that they just went through, knowing that, they had no control over what was happening to them. They were consciously aware of what was happening to them.
Right.
Couldn't do anything about it. So I'm sure they were very sympathetic to her plight because
No,
they're
they weren't.
thinking
I was gonna
she's
say no, they
No, the
weren't,
fuck they weren't.
because she was part of the reason why Wanda was
I
holding
mean,
on to all of that for so
what
long.
what
So
else are they gonna do? Lock her up? She
I
wasn't.
mean, they just had the Scarlet Witch, her robot husband, and her fighting all around the damn town. Vision destroyed their fucking library. It's like, how's the library even still standing? Vision went through the fucking roof of that library.
here's they probably had some fun. What was it? Sword probably was like, okay, we're gonna give y'all this money and y'all just be quiet. Here,
I
fix your
mean, just
library,
like they,
fix
they,
your
they went
town.
through so much. It's like they probably still have tanks around there and shit. Like fucking, they just left them because the government don't like cleaning up after themselves. They're probably tanks and all kinds of shit just sitting out there in the fucking field. It's like just fucking just. I mean, people probably still have half a house.
But
Nah,
what
I'm
what
telling
what
you,
was
Sword probably.
Agent Wu? What was Agent Wu gonna do? Like, what was Agent Wu and Sword? What were they going to do with this woman who is supposedly very powerful? Who Wanda has basically made something else, and they can't do anything about it. But they can't
Agent Wu's
lock
back in
her up
San Francisco. That
because
was
she's
that
not
was proven
herself.
in Quantumania.
No,
He was having lunch with Scott. He was
you
he
know
was
what?
sitting
That
right there,
goes back into
But you know
tying
what? That
everything
doesn't.
back together, and we're not a.
wibbly
And
wobbly,
you
timey
know what?
wimey.
But that doesn't even mean that he didn't go there and actually try to break it.
Yeah.
So I mean, we can't discount that. We don't know, but what we do know is that all these people, despite what she did, they were still trying to help her get through it.
Mhm.
Nobody locked her up.
What's
Sword
Wu
could
gonna do?
easily put her away, put her on the raft, and just left her there to rot. They didn't do
What,
that.
what's Wu gonna do? Come up with some card tricks?
You know what? And on that note, that's it for our show. You can no, Mike, put the cards down. You can find us online at www.fandomhybrid.com. We are on social media, on all the social media at Fandom Hybrid. You can chat with us on our Discord channel. You can watch our videos on our YouTube channel, and you can listen to us on all major podcast streaming platforms. Thanks for listening. I hope you join the conversation next time.